That is the Ohio State fight song. I'm Michael Patrick Shields. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. And let's bring in some Buckeyes and Buckeye supporters here. We'll start with Dr. Greg Landis, a cardiovascular surgeon at the Total Vein Care Clinic and a Buckeye alum. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
Kevin Helm is on the other end of our line, too. He's the executive director of the Michigan PGA and a true Buckeye fan. Also wearing maybe he's still in his scarlet and gray pajamas this morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Michael Patrick.
Do the scarlet and gray pajamas have footies or no?
No footies and no hood. It's not like a Snuggie or whatever.
Okay.
They're just straight scarlet and gray pajamas.
Snuggie would be good. Now, Dr. Landis, no scarlet, no gray for you this morning. In
No,
fact, blue.
I'm wearing blue because I'm a little blue about the events that are happening at Ohio State.
Yeah, well, let's get to it here then. The Associated Press says that the NCAA, in a sharply worded rebuke of Jim Tressel, accused him of withholding information, lying to keep Buckeye players on the field, players who had accepted improper benefits from the owner of a tattoo parlor, of all places. They say that Jim Tressel permitted football student athletes to participate while ineligible, failed to deport himself with honesty and integrity, and said he was lying when he filled out a compliance form that said he had no knowledge that any of this was going on. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think the NCAA is probably going to hammer Ohio State, probably wipe out last year's season is probably what they're
Take
talking
away
about.
all the wins.
Take away all the wins. I think he's in a very difficult position for him to go out and recruit new kids, knowing that he's lied and did not do what he was, challenged and expected to do as a coach. I think he's in a difficult spot.
Do you think that he will lose his job?
I would think he would retire. I think he would just say, I resign.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to WTVN 610 out of Columbus every day on my computer.
Yeah.
And I listened to Earl Bruce yesterday, and basically, it comes down to if this was, John Cooper, he'd been long gone. But with Tressel, with only 22 losses in 10 years,
Yeah.
national championships, Big Ten titles 6 years in a row. I mean, that's what's making the difference, and it really shouldn't.
Kevin Helm, what do you think? Does Jim Tressel get a pass, or what's your opinion?
Boy, this is a tough one. I mean, I read that document as well, and it certainly does not sound good. And I think anyone that's aware of or knows Jim Tressel, and over the years he's done so many great things for the university and college football and the young men that have played for him, that you just don't understand how he could make this mistake. But I think it's obviously been admitted it's a mistake, and he knows he did not. While he did try to stop the situation from happening, he did not inform the right people, and he made a mistake, and he should be punished for that. Whether the 5-game suspension and a $250,000 fine is adequate for that, I don't know. It's pretty hefty, probably stronger than I've heard in any other cases. But it's just going to come down to how many points he's stored up with all the good that he's done over the years. And I agree with what the doctor said there. If it was John Cooper or someone who wasn't beloved and done as many great things for the university and the players, I'm not so sure it would have gotten to this point. I think it probably would have been either let go or retired sooner. It's a tough thing. I don't think any Buckeye fans are certainly not proud that this has happened, and it's totally out of character for what we've come to know from Jim Tressel.
Is it a mistake, or is it a lack of moral compass?
I don't know. That's directed at me. I think it's a mistake. I think people that know Jim Tressel and over the years all he's done, I think that's one thing that he's been consistent in. He is a very good person. I've heard him on the speaking trail. I've talked to him personally, and you hear players that have played for him and coaches that have coached for him. Consistently, it's more about life and what he teaches the young men as they go through college and the coaches that work for him. It's not all about football. And I do think he's a good man. I think he has a good moral compass, and I think it's a mistake. And, it's just, is that something is it too serious where he can be forgiven, after getting punished, or is it going to end his career at Ohio State? It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Dr. Landis, that's all Nixon did was try to cover up for his people.
Exactly right. And look what happened to him.
That's just what I'm saying. I've made those kind of mistakes, too, where you get caught, suddenly it's a mistake.
And in my business, as you know, in front of my patients, if a mistake is made, you come up clean right away. You do not, you know, put it under the covers. And it's just the way you should run your life and the way you should deal with people and with coaches. That's the same kind of similar situations.
It sounds like this may be snowballed.
Yeah, it's going to get bigger and bigger.
You know, I don't know. I suppose it's a coincidence, but we talked yesterday with Mark D'Antonio, the Michigan State coach, and I'm going to play that tape in just a minute, in fact. But do you know where he was? He was getting off a plane in Columbus, Ohio. Now, I regret that I didn't ask him what he's doing in Columbus, but I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I mean, do you?
There's no rumors about getting a new coach, as far as I know.
Urban Meyer is the rumor that he would come to Ohio State. Would you like that idea?
I don't know. I think we usually do better when we have Buckeyes that are from the state of Ohio.
Isn't he
being
from
coaches.
Bowling Green, though, originally?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
He
Kevin
might be,
Helmuth.
but
Doesn't Urban Meyer have Ohio roots?
Urban Meyer he grew up in Ohio,
Yeah.
and actually, I'm a Bowling Green alum, and yes, he did a great job turning around that program. Well, I wouldn't say totally turning around, but they had more success, obviously, with him. I think they had one loss or so one year, and he's done a great job everywhere he's been. Now, there is some baggage, I guess, with his tenure there at Florida, and not with necessarily NCAA violations, but I know he had some players get in trouble, and and that's the tough thing. You know, the number of players and young men you recruit, you can't control them all the time, and
Yep,
it's how
and,
you deal with those problems.
They're lots more sophisticated these days, too, it seems, and so are the temptations, I would say. Thank you very much, Kevin Helm, Executive Director, Michigan PGA. Dr. Landis, if you're the president of Ohio State, does Jim Tressel still have a job?
I wouldn't think so.
No. Okay, Dr. Greg Landis, cardiovascular surgeon, OSU alum. Find him at the Total Vein Care Clinic here in the state capital area. I'm Michael Patrick Shields, back, as I mentioned, with Michigan State football coach Mark D'Antonio.